Street, proposed redevelopment by the Bluestone Group. Ira Lichtiger is here as a representative for the proposal.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman and members of the board. For the record, I'm Ira Lichtiger, principal of the Bluestone organization. I'm here tonight with my partner, Stephen Bluestone, Aaron Kaufman from the HUDSON Companies, which is our joint venture partner in this development, and our consultant from the Greyston organization, Shelley Weintraub. Just because we haven't been before the board for the Bluestone organization, and the HUDSON Companies are well-established developers of residential, affordable, and market-rate housing in the New York City metropolitan area. In the packet, there's a couple of brief sheets about us, which I won't take the time to go into. Our architect, Curtis Ginsburg, is unavailable tonight, but will be present when we come back for a formal hearing, hopefully soon. We plan to be on the June calendar of the zoning board and to move forward from there. The next sheet shows the location of the project site. It also shows the transportation near it, the bus lines and the bus stops, and then a few blocks of the site, bike path, and some green park areas. The next sheeting in your package, well, we were asked actually by the city to try to preserve a portion of the Longfellow School. And the next sheet in your package gives a very strong indication of which building we're planning to preserve. The building with the intact roof on Seymour Street is the portion that we're planning to keep and restore and convert to residential housing. And along Mulberry Street, we plan to build new construction residential housing. The following sheet just shows currently the existing Seymour Street building, which we plan to keep as part of the development. So many of you may know this, but the Longfellow School closed about 30 years ago. It suffered a terrible fire in 2000. We've met with the community, and it presents a real problem for the community. Rodent issues, safety issues. It's an eyesore in the community, and the project hopes to help revitalize it in that way with new residential housing. Well, the next sheet is a site plan, which shows the Seymour Street former school building on the top of the plan, and the new building along Mulberry Street on the bottom is green on the roof in this plan because we plan to do a green roof up there. Partly because we need to accommodate for the existing school building. The parking ratio is one of the main things that we're going to the zoning board for. It's currently approximately a 1-to-1 ratio, approximately 68 housing units and 68 spots. We are in the process of, and should have a report for a parking accumulation study, which we've asked them to make suggestions to help deal with what we understand are community reservations about that aspect of it, the parking. Then there are 4 perspectives in your package and on the board as well. I'll try to do the architect's part in this as best as I can. The new building is broken up into sections. The facade is broken up. The top floor treatment is different to complement the difference in the top floor treatment in the existing school building. The school tries to have a modern interpretation of the school coins, which I understand are the corner masonry pieces. And in terms of height, the existing school building is taller than the new building. The first perspective shows a shot from Trinity Street and Seymour Street. I'm actually not sure if I'm in the same order as you, but you can see that we have landscape screening of the parking. The ground slopes down and the parking continues underneath the new building. And the shot of perspective of the new building at the corner of Trinity and Mulberry Street, you can see vertical and horizontal elements that are meant to complement the elements of the existing school. And the last shot is just an aerial perspective of Trinity and Mulberry Street. One aspect that our development team, I think, is really going to bring as a real strength to Yonkers is that these buildings are going to be highly energy efficient and green buildings. We plan to do a more full presentation of that to you when we have the formal hearing. But if you'd like any information about that, our partner Steve Bluestone could answer any questions today.
Thank you. Members of the board, questions? Mr. Kachuk?
So these 2 buildings are not connected, right? They're completely separate buildings.
Correct.
Is there any difference one versus the other in terms of apartment configuration, or have you ever determined that?
There will be a difference just because we're constrained more in the school building. The one reason that they're not connected, because we looked at trying to connect them, is that the floor-to-floor heights are significantly higher in the existing building. It became very expensive to try and connect them in that way. Right. There would have been ramps between the buildings and ADA issues and so forth. But there is what we see now as the unit mix. I think there are more studios and 1-bedrooms in the Mulberry Street unit, and more 2s and 3s in the new building.
Okay. I'd say it looks very nice.
Thank you.
Parking is probably the most difficult challenge.
Right. We understand that. I think that we could have accommodated that need better if there wasn't also a need on the part of the administration and I think the community to preserve a portion of the old school. And that limits to a large extent, that and budget constraints limit our options to create additional parking there.
talked about, I'm sorry, Jerry.
No, that's,
You talked about affordable housing. We're talking as the term of art or in general, how do you approach affordable housing?
These are going to be financed as 9% federal tax credits. The affordability would be 60% of area median income, which is close to the rent. We expect that the rents will be close to a little bit below what the market is in the neighborhood. So they are affordable as a term of art, but they would pretty much mirror the area's market for rents.
But they will be programmatically income limited.
Yes. In addition to the 9% federal credits, we'll be seeking state tax credits and also state and federal historic tax credits.
And that's all of the units.
All of the units, correct.
And when you talk about affordable housing for local residents, what's your understanding of local?
Well, we're going to have to actually work with the planning department on that. Normally what we do in the areas where we build is that the outreach is really weighted to the local area, the Yonkers, basically the Yonkers. We'll have to comply with all fair housing guidelines and everything to make sure that we're not going to run amiss with that. But a lot of the outreach tends to be locally centered, and by that we're talking about Yonkers.
But your construction actually doesn't displace anyone. This is all city-owned property?
It's city-owned property, yes.
Okay, there's not going to be any need for eminent domain or anything of that nature?
No.
And my last question for now, the public amenities, because I just see parking and the structure itself with some landscaping, but otherwise, no.
Well, we're going to be building sidewalks, which is not currently present. There'll be lighting, not sure yet whether it's street lighting or building lighting. There'll be lighting up the street. By public amenities, you don't mean the amenities within the building, but outside.
Okay. It's not a criticism, it's just a question.
I'm sorry?
It's not a criticism of the project, it's just a question. So as far as park or anything of that nature, or the access would be to tenants only. There'd be no reason for anyone else to maneuver through the area.
I think that's correct. It's not that large a site.
Right.
And for security, purposes for the tenants.
Members of the board, any other questions? Mr. Cater.
Have you spoken to the churches? There's, I believe, 3 churches in. Did you get any input from them?
We've had a preliminary meeting that we had with the community, included the churches. It was at the senior center, and we're working on scheduling 2 meetings with a small group from the churches and then a larger community group. And we know that the church's concern relates to the parking on Sundays, and so we've explained that to our parking consultant and asked them in the context of their study to address that and with possible changes to parking regulations and so forth to see if there's a way to that the project can accommodate that.
Yeah, I think that's a good observation. I think any study should include, let's say, which normally does, but it can do Sunday morning parking.
We specifically asked them to research Sunday morning.
Not Easter, because Easter forgiveness. That's the reminder. I'm sorry.
This neighborhood is Easter is well set.
They're a different denomination.
Not next year. Next year it's on the same.
Actually, you have a Catholic church and Orthodox there.
Right.
So you're going to have a
So
double.
we have either endless Easter or whatever we say.
Next year they fall together.
Is there going to, I have one more question. Is there going to be any security guard there, any sort of security measures there?
We we're not currently planning a security guard for this site. We will have cameras and internal security items, and we'll have to see if it becomes necessary. Our sense is that in the Hollows, it's not currently necessary.
Okay, I just want to make sure that the churches definitely get included into anything that goes on there.
Right. Grayston is our local consultant and they're leading charge to schedule meetings with the churches and to make sure that, you know, we work with them as much as possible, as well as with the rest of the community.
Okay, I have no further questions.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Board, any other questions? Staff? All right, looking forward to
We
working
hope-
with you on the project.
Thanks, we hope to see you soon.
Thank you.